welcome back to Guild Wars 2, Living World Season 4, Episode 3, Long Live the Lich. So we start out with having to help Gorik. Timing calls us and is like, Commander, they arrested Gorik, and then I have to go save him. And they arrested him because he was doing scarab beetle research. And why is he doing scarab beetle research? Well, because Joko wants to bring back the scarab beetle plague. So we was trying, and we're like, nah, release him. Like, dude means well, it's fine. And they're like, if you say so, sure. And they had taken all of his stuff, so we had to go and find his stuff. And they powered down Blish, and Blish was just like, I was in nothingness. Like, it was apparently just black void. Like, they tried to describe it, but it was kind of odd to get a sense of. But his consciousness was essentially just like in a black void of nothingness. So we get him back, and then a Crichton ship shows up. It was supposed to be carrying supplies, but the scarab plague is on it. We end up stopping that, and next we have to go to the primeval tome and ask them for help. So this event in the desert highlands literally always catches me. It is obnoxious. It is obnoxious how often that it like every time I log in, it's there. It's so funny. Okay. I apologize. Okay, so this episode might have a couple of weird little like blips where it seems like it may or may not be missing something. This is because if you go anywhere near your marker, they just start talking. Like, it just starts going. So I wasn't necessarily recording at the time of doing it. So it was a whole mess. It's just a whole mess of nonsense. So we asked the primeval dynasty ghosts for help, and they're like, yeah, we'll help. So Timey and Gorik are working on how to create a rift to send us to, well, it's the domain of Kurna map. So we go through first, and Blish's arm, poor Blish. Blish's arm goes through, and we find Blish's arm, and Blish is like, aha, guess what? You have my arm. You can stealth, you can do this, you can do that. So, like, we're running around with Blish's arm, like, trying to eliminate some of the awakened in the area, trying to scout out the area, see if we can set up a base camp. We find this little town, we end up clearing it just enough to be like, yep, this will make a good waypoint. Or waypoint, I mean, yeah, that is where the waypoint is, but this will make a good camp. So once we get it cleared out enough, Kanak is able to come through, and we are able to create a bramble wall. So that's how we defend ourselves in this encampment, is bramble walls. This was not as obnoxious as the golem traveling through the inquest base as a golem, but pretty far up there. So this is just being stealthy, and like, sometimes I don't want to be stealthy. Sometimes I just want to be like, I'm just doing it. This character's just about breezing through it. This character's not about like going slow and steady. None of my characters are. It took me a little while to figure out the mechanics of being spotted and not being spotted and it disappearing, and what actually I was even supposed to be like doing. Because it was like, create a bramble wall but blow up defenses but do this. So it was like simultaneously doing like 4 different things, and it was just, this was just too much to start with. It was just too much for me to start with, because I was like, this is a lot. It was a part of the map I've never been to before. It was just sneaking through, destroying stuff. I didn't know how to use the tools they were giving me, bombs and stuff. It's not what I've used. Like, I couldn't really just like smack stuff. Like, I couldn't just go up and stab things. Like, I like to stab things. Instead, I had to like throw bombs. Like, that's not what I want to be doing. So it was a lot. It wasn't, but it seems like a lot, because this part of the video is probably the longest part of any video ever. But I struggled through it. We made it through. Like, I'm not kidding when I say it's way too much of this video. I probably could have sped it up. But like, this map is not the easiest to navigate either. And like, you obviously have to have your mounts, because like, it's impossible not to, but because of the stealth you were doing, that didn't translate to your mount. So like, you couldn't use your mount while you were stealthed. And I was honestly trying to get the achievements and stuff, so I didn't mount. So it took me forever, because I've been living on my mounts since they gave them to me. I bully everything on my mounts. Like, I bully everything on my mounts, and they took them away. I didn't take them away. They're like, use it at your own discretion. And so eventually, we get it set up, and then Timey and Gorik are like, okay, we can start sending people through. Like, okay, great. Start sending people through, and they're like, okay, but the rift isn't big enough. We can't send everybody all at once. Like, we have to send like them in groups. They're like, okay, cool, like, not a problem. However, it was weird because it was still doing like the whole being detected mechanic on top of this mechanic, so there were a couple of times where I just got this huge wave of awakened, and I was just like, what do you want me to do in this situation? Like, my character's got a little bit of AoE, my character's got good damage output, and a whole lot of squish. Like, what do you want me to do here? And it was just, once we made it through, like, the whole being spotted conundrum thing, it was fine. But when a wave of people came through as somebody else, like as a spotter was coming, it was just, I'm like, at some point those two mechanics should not have met. Those two mechanics should not have met. It's just, it's too much. This whole chaos. This was just chaos. This was just too much. It's too much. So we're setting up this base camp. We're getting all the people sorted through. We're dealing with Awakened as they're coming through. And like, it was one of those things where you have to have control of the area for a certain length of time before the next group could come through, which admittedly took me a little longer to figure out. Or like literally just be like one person in there, and I just, like I said, this was fairly annoying. Fairly annoying of a task. We did eventually get it done though, through all the deaths. Once we got the base camp, though things took off quickly. It was go after this in terms of the storyline. Like, we went from not even having a base camp to all of a sudden, okay, how do we attack Jogo's fortress? Like, they apparently decided Jogo gets 3 episodes. That's it. We are dealing with this. We are dealing with this. This is also the map storyline you need to unlock the roller beetle. So I spent way too much time on this map doing roller beetle. I went from not knowing this map at all to knowing this map way too well. So we got everything set up and established, and then we came up with a plan because of how the Scarab Plague works. Ghosties and anything people would essentially be like the mainline assaults, and humans, things susceptible to the Scarab Plague, needed to stay behind. Needed to not be directly involved with this nonsense. So we start setting up the armies and the defensive positions, and pretty much just go straight through. We had to do the hearts. Like, it was pretty much the missions that you had to do coincided with the hearts. Not 100%, but for the most part you got a good chunk of the heart done for doing the task, for the story. And so those obviously took us to 3 very different parts of the map that we got to explore and do, and earn the trust of the different people and stuff already on the map. So there was a tribe of Hylek here, tribe of people, all that stuff. Tribe of people. I think we're a tribe. I'm not really sure. And obviously there's an Inquest lab because there's an Inquest lab everywhere. But we had to save as many Hylek as we could from the Inquest, and only so successful, but then we had to go help the village and investigate the scarab plague that was apparently released up there. Which was... This felt a lot... minus that part where we had to be stealth. This is a lot faster than the previous episode. This episode went from 0 to 60 in like two sections. Like it was, oh, now we're here. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, okay, cool. Like we're just going for it. We're just going straight for Joko. Like, we're not messing around anymore. That's pretty much what this is. This is like, we are done with you and your shenanigans. Good day. That's what this whole episode is we are done. We're done. We have other stuff to deal with. That's what it feels like this episode is. It's just like, okay, get it done. Get it out of the way. Go, 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 go. And so yeah, we get, you know, the support of the people in the area, and we figure out what we need to figure out, and our sweet baby Irene is flying around and I love her. And so then we go and we see Ritlock and the ghosts, and we kind of, okay, so are we ready to attack? Like, let's go. Let's go. We're infiltrating the fortress now. And that's what I mean. Like, this went quick. Like, once we got set up, and then we kind of, like, explored the area a little bit, and then it was, alright, go take out Joko. Like, we just went right up to the front door and said, hi, how you doing? We're here now. I wish I was kidding. Like, we literally just went up to the front door and was like, hi, how you doing? And you'll notice I switched to a staff. Maybe you'll notice I switched to a staff to see what the difference was from my stubbornness and daggers. It's a bit of a difference. There's more damage, I guess. I don't know. It's different. And I changed some of my QER abilities around as well. Still very squishy. Still not the best of my characters. Well, for storylines, for missions and stuff, overall. The ghosty says, we got this. We got this. But Bram and I are like, we gotta go this way. So we went through the sewers. And then we found a torture chamber. And then Joko wants to be a mesmer. So he's got all these illusions and everything. Now it's a signet ring. And you activate the signet ring and it dispels the illusions. And there were traps everywhere. So we essentially had to puzzle our way to Joko, which was a pain in the butt. I hated every second of this puzzle system. None of it was fun. Not a single one of it was fun. It's just lasers and fire and arrows and and the whole time Joko is just like taunting you, like the ghost of Joko or whatever, and he's just like, oh, I thought you were better than this, like dude. And obviously you had to beat stuff up out of, you had to do a puzzle, beat stuff up, puzzle, beat stuff up. So that was fun. It'd be a lot quicker if you just let me go in the front door and not the side door. So more fire, more lasers. Now we combined the fire and the lasers. He's so tricky. He's so tricky and creative. Dude, it took me so long to get through this. It didn't take me as long as it could have, but like, because it was around corners and stuff, I couldn't just like shadow step over it like me and my sneaky self sometimes do. So we get through it. So we get through that next part. And then there's another part. And we have to obviously like figure out how to unlock the door. It took me, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a second to like process the best way to do the door, because I was like, oh, it kept messing with me. It would look right one way, and then you had to use the signet ring, and I didn't realize the signet ring was over, even though it's like a purple glowy thing, whatever. And then as soon as you unlocked it, you obviously had to beat up the next beast marshal. The beast marshal we had to beat up. That was fairly annoying too, because again, they decided fire and lasers. We're gonna have some fire and some lasers. I think there was some ice too running around. It was a mess. It was a mess and a half. She was a pain. Once I figured out her mechanics though, she wasn't as bad, but it took me a minute to realize what the mechanics of defeating her were. And there are lasers around, so you'd have to jump over them or shadow step over them or however you get around things. And then we get to go fight Joko. I literally just used my bow and just hop skipped around and beat him up around and around and around. In circles I went. I apologize if you get dizzy watching this. As it's literally like, I would switch to a staff at certain like phases of his attacks, and then there were other ones, and it was a whole mess. It was a whole mess. This battle was like long and drawn out. Just keep in mind, this is all sped up 8 times. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little caught off guard by the ending. So you get down and you kill him, right? And then goes up and eats him. And I was just like, babe, we could have arranged this delicacy for you a long time ago. Like, if you wanted to eat Joko, you probably could have, seen fit to have a new feast on him earlier. Because, you could have just flown in through the window, darling. You could have just boop together. That would have been fine with me. Like, see, it's just gonna show up and eat him? We went through all that for you to just, whoop, I'm eating him. I didn't defeat Joko, my dragon did. We defeated Joko because he was toying with us, and he let us defeat him to prove that he couldn't be killed. And then Arena's like, yeah, no. So yeah, long live the Lich. So Arena's happily munching on Joko now. Yay! Like I said, much faster pace, and now we get to deal with the fallout of Joko dying, and Kralkatoric, and Arena the Lich. Fun! So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.